Beginning.
Track daily, got another one. Jump on it, jump on it, jump on it. Jump on it, jump on it.
Jump on it, ride it like Jackie. The hell smoking that loud, lace the yak with mouth. Make your mama proud, popping it like shot. Turn up, it's a gangster party.
PT, ain't never popped a Molly, but if I ever catch Mac, I'ma pop a Holly. I don't even rob a cop the Harley. Blowing so much green, I shame Marley. Yeah, I push the line to its full limit. Hit the hole like 22, boy, I'm a young image. Nothing go like snow, now that's a cold image. Still whistling, sending, knocking them white women. Only reason I do it to avenge image. To the day they go before and they box me out. Knowing me, it don't matter, I simply take my route. On my hobby.
Check. Okay, I'm with you folks. You can hear me? Okay, so how do you want me to refer to you? Because I don't even know if you want your identity out here with these police ass niggas. Ain't no telling. You know what I'm saying? So I just call you Bronco T. Okay, Bronco T. So Bronco T, today I got a call from you earlier, and you reiterated a lot of things that I had already known, as I did actually read the Eddie Wagner and David Austin's appeal. In fact, I was the one that found it once EddieBoy had came to the internet on the phone with Big U and read it over with him, right? And it was a lot of facts that I've come to know through that, and then him hearing his side of the story, and then even more facts as I've been researching Eddie Wagner. Shit that I ain't even brought to the internet yet, but I'm gonna make sure, since he want to come live, that we tell the truth. So tell me about your relations to this and what you know about that original 91 case.
Okay, so me and Big Youth and Road Dog for about 50 years. So just in the street, when we was out there hustling, me and him was day to day, every day.
Right.
So EddieBoy, he suddenly started coming up on this money, and nobody in the neighborhood could figure out what he was doing, but he was setting up licks.
Right.
So one night, me and Draws caught him up on Arlington and Preston, and Big U was like, "You setting up all these other dudes, man? You gonna give me and Bronco some money?" So fast forward, he got connected. And what we later found out, it was through BJ from 46 neighborhood that was setting up all these licks for him.
Right.
At that time, we didn't know. So EddieBoy came on 51st at Big Dave's house, rest in peace, and came and got us. It was me, Draws, and another homie, and a few other homies, and said that it was on. But what we later discovered was that he had already made an attempt to hit this move without us.
Oh, that was the when he met with the police, and I guess the drugs wasn't there, the drug card, so the police called the lick off.
Yeah. So
okay.
He might have got spooked thinking that they was trying to put a move down on him. So he came on 51st and told us about it like it was fresh. He didn't tell us about none of the other stuff. Not who had been giving him the information, this, that, and the other.
Right.
So we getting ready to move out. Once he knew it was back on, and Jeff said, "Big, you stopped and looked at me and said, T, I don't think something don't feel right about this, homie." So he handed me the keys to the crib. We were staying over there at Beach in Inglewood. And he handed me, because he said, "Man, something ain't right, and we both can't end up in jail." So
right.
The last time I seen dude free for like 13 years. The homie came back on 51st with as big as 50 Cent people. And I was like, "Bro, where my cousin at?" He was like, "Oh, T," he was like, "Man, they was everywhere, man. The police was everywhere. It was a setup." And they, like he was saying, they was everywhere. And he was like, "I barely got away." So moving forward, Draws is in the Big U is in the whole county, so I'm going to see dude almost every day, except when Stacy goes see him.
Right.
So I get a call from DJ from 46 neighborhood telling me, hey, when you talk to Big U, man, tell him that wasn't meant for him. That move wasn't meant for him. So when we later found out that EddieBoy was getting all this information from BJ, and the only thing we could figure out is that BJ was setting him up to go down and didn't know that Big U was going to be on this move with him. So,
wait, so let me get this straight. So BJ turned out to be working with the people.
Yes.
Okay.
What we found out with BJ in this testimony from one of the homies, Lil D, said that BJ got a call from homicide one day asking about the homies doing stuff in the hood, and he told them, you know, I only do licks, man. I rob drug dealers. I don't kill nobody. And they was like, the only thing we worried about is the homicides. And so it was reported that BJ one day shot his gun into the ground and told the police that was his that was the weapon that he carried with him. And that if anything came up on his name, they would have the slug to prove that he wasn't involved. So,
wow.
And this is when it get funky. So once I told Draws this, Draws get mad, and he like, when I see this nigga, when I run in the car, I'm gonna beat his ass. And so EddieBoy found out that Draws found out that he was getting that information from BJ. And the reason why this was an issue, had he mentioned this to us, we wouldn't have never fucked with him. So Big U was mad at EddieBoy the whole time because you did something and didn't tell me the real and didn't give him a chance to fully understand what he was getting himself into.
Right.
So EddieBoy avoided Draws all these years while he was in the pen, like the homie Big Devil, who's in, he's in Chino right now. He told me, he said, T, you know, once they got sentenced, because me, Big Devil, and Jim Brown was at EddieBoy and Big U's sentencing.
Right.
And they went over all the charges. None of them said anything about Dave Austin making a statement against this man. This is why we getting him with conspiracy, this, that, and the other. It was everything to do with their individual thing. They wanted to give Big U extra time for a gun that the officer who was at the trunk said he saw Big U pull out a gun. Because he said, because you'll know this from his appeal paperwork, the guy said, we never heard of Dave Austin. We never seen him, never heard his voice. And the whole time we was conversing with Eddie Wagner, setting this whole thing up.
Except one time. One time they said they called the number and an unidentified male had answered the phone or something, right? Right.
This is what concluded to them, because also in that they were saying they knew EddieBoy didn't have $200,000 to put up to buy them.
Right.
They knew that this dude was, you know, he was a smoker at one point, you know, and him and Big U got a checkered past based on the case that his brother is on. Also, he had shot Big U in the hand one time on 10th Avenue. Big U have been kind of soured on the dude since then.
On Lil EddieBoy?
No, Big EddieBoy. Little EddieBoy got caught on that case, which EddieBoy, he's mad at Big U because Big U couldn't convince Petey Wack to say or make a statement saying that Lil EddieBoy wasn't involved, because Petey Wack took a deal on that case.
Right.
This was the case about Joker from Ain't Trey Gangster and what happened over there on 51st. What he's leaving out is the testimony made by civilians. There was a civilian that identified what he said were the three people he saw leaving that house.
Right.
So Big U can't make Petey Wack say nothing.
And even more than that, Big U, if Big U got Petey Wack to say that, Petey Wack could be looking at more time because it could be contradictory to the civilian statement, which would be perjury.
So, you know, and what EddieBoy is doing is trying to capitalize on hood politics, internal hood politics. Things went kind of sideways in our neighborhood between the front hood and the avenues and the overheads.
Right.
And so these dudes got issues with Big U, so they use it. This dude is taking advantage of that through 600.
Right.
Who is connecting himself to somebody that used to be our boy that was with us every day. You know, so when they gave Jim Brown came up there with us to be a character witness and ask for, you know, some leniency from the court on Big U because he was trying to transition, he was doing some things, and so when me and Devil get on the elevator, there's a police on the elevator with us, and I peeked him and I was like, "Hey, dude, you can shut your recording off." He was trying to listen to what we said. He could pull, and Big Devil will testify to this. This dude pulled his recording out, shut it off, and start writing and followed us all the way out to the parking lot in the car. So this is how they were trying to get even more information back then.
Right.
Yeah. So the police said they never found the gun, that they had Big U under surveillance from 30,000 feet with gyro binoculars, and that they canvassed the area in which they saw him run for 3 days and never found any weapon. That's why he didn't get a conspiracy charge. He didn't get a charge, extra enhancement with the gun. So they stopped at 26 years on him. They went through EddieBoy's past and said that he had a prior and some other things. Now, I can't recall exactly if they you know, what was the finding on the conspiracy, this, that, and the other. But all this nonsense with him and 600 are talking about that Big U snitched on him is dismantled and blown up by his very own appeal.
Right.
Which you said you read.
That's the paperwork he's trying to use. How you gonna use an appeal? First of all, it's a joint appeal, right? And it's a conflict of interest for two co-defendants to agree to be on a joint appeal if one's pointing the finger at the other in any way. You know what I'm saying? And he's trying to utilize that to say the Big U's a rat. That shit just don't make sense. But you know, most people don't read, bro. You know what I'm saying? So they just go by what they hear, and that's dangerous, especially when it comes to people that's come from the community. Big U's in jail, bro. I did 10 years in federal USPs, bro. And snitching is, bro, you got dudes in there with 360 months to life. Like majority of them, the lowest is 20. I was up in there with 10. They say you take 10 years. You in the feds, you won. I got 10 years. So those dudes up there waiting for them buses to come. They're talking to the laundryman to see what names come up there because they already got paperwork from various cases. So if you're spreading this word that this dude's a rat, and dudes is already set to get rats. So basically, essentially, it sounds like he's trying to put Big U's life under threat and harm by dirty politicking Big U. And it's not just him and 600. It's a concerted of other efforts because of inner-hood politics and separation between the, like you say, the overhills, the AG and the avenues and the front. You know what I'm saying? So
EddieBoy is essentially lying when he said that Big U said that he snitched on him. That's why he was getting confronted on the yards. That wasn't the case. It was all about Big U was mad because this dude got him caught up in something, and had he told him the real of what was going on, dude felt like he would have never been in that particular situation. Because we was moving around the city for a long time, and the way that we moved kept us from catching any, police interaction. So that was the reason why that was the first time dude did any stretch of time, was based on something that he felt like, man, if you had just told me you was fucking with BJ from 4-6, nigga, I'd have known not to fuck with it.
Right.
It was gonna be hot. Because BJ got the homie Lil Waco caught up, which they may even have it on YouTube, where Waco was telling these dudes that they had set up, they had met at a party at BJ, had something going on, introduced these dudes, and Waco was doing a buy with these dudes, and it was the feds the whole time. And, the whole thing with BJ from 4-6 was a dude named, I'm not saying nothing that's not public record, Tony J from Harlem is supposed to be in jail for murdering BJ.
Right.
BJ laid down Ice-T at his studio, and I was at the homie house the night that they showed up with them Rolex chains and watches and stuff, and didn't say exactly where they got it from, but we soon found out that it was Ice-T. Ice-T knew it was BJ. And why this mattered is because I ran into Shawnee Mac, one of Ice-T's boys, and he was telling me, he said, man, the police, they looking at BJ like he was one of them. He was really fucking with them, and they really upset about it, and they want to try to get Ice-T caught up in the conspiracy because Ice had been taking care of Tony J the first time dude was in the pen. Right. So we all knew this about BJ. But we'd stay way away from that had that been the case, had he just told us what was going on. So out of that anger and the anger that he can't get his little brother out, he is choosing to attack the character of somebody who was a main force in putting the 6-0's name on the map during the 1980s. And I'm just frustrated that these lesser than niggas, like, I don't know nothing about 600. I don't know dude history or nothing. I know one cat, you know, like Wack had mentioned, that he talked to niggas that he fucked with in the 60s, Big D and S-Mac. Right. Now, Big D and AG. And, you know, me and him had a conversation about all this. Now, S-Mac, I don't know what turned him against Big U, but that used to be our boy. That dude was at our house. As a matter of fact, when the gear gangs chased him up out of his shoes at the World, the nightclub Bruce Richardson had up there by the Beverly Center, he called Big U. He didn't call Big D. He didn't call none of the other homies. He called Draws. Right. You know, so that's how things was with us. And I just, you know, man, I'm just annoyed because I know this dude got his stripes solidly. It ain't never been no dirt on dude name. As a matter of fact, he was the one patrolling and looking for snitches in the hood. He at Stonehouse at one point, it had gotten so bad, we started frisking niggas coming in the Stone house, only to find out after Stone died, dude had the right inclination because the newspaper had reported private conversations that only a homie would know. You know, so, and I know every neighborhood got this problem. Every hood, bro. You know, every hood got that issue, homie. And for this dude, EddieBoy, to be trying to put, because I guess he felt like Draws had put his life in danger when he put that word out there. He didn't want to, you know, anybody run up on that dude to handle him, you know, because he filed. But it wasn't because he was uncertain that EddieBoy made a statement against him. This was all because of the way he went about handling his business. That dude felt like he got caught up. So I don't want to keep repeating myself on that. But, you know, that's my whole point. I want to clear the air. And I challenge EddieBoy and anybody else to prove me wrong. That he didn't get this information from BJ. Big U ain't, like, when he was saying the story about his little brother, he conceded that the police be lying and the police lied on his little brother. But in the case of Big U, they telling the truth. Right. Selective politicking. Yeah. But I thought I was taught 10 times out of 10, if your homie, now if Big U would have waived his Mirandas and signed a waiver, then it would have, I would have believed the police because you shouldn't have said nothing in the first place and waived your rights. But because Big U didn't waive his Miranda rights when they asked him, because he didn't make no formal statement, he doesn't benefit from making any statement, period. So why would he make this spontaneous statement? I don't believe you. Spontaneous. Yeah. It wouldn't have made sense to them anyway because they know that they was dealing with that boy and that was going to get him by himself. Right, because they already had him from the prior meeting before. And the conversations before. And so, you know, he's trying to just turn it around and make himself seem more credible, more, and now he got dudes thinking that he was some kind of big impact dude in the 60s. That ain't the case. Right. He was never that dude, you know. And so, yeah, man, I guess all I want to do, okay, well, let me ask you just a couple questions. Did you ever know that Eddie Wagner also went by the name Eddie Bruce Harrison or Eddie Earl Harrison or Eddie Jerome Harrison or Eddie Ray Harrison? Did you know that? Well, yeah, I got confirmation
and he had cases. He got a pending case right now out of Inglewood, and he confirmed that he got that case. In fact, right now I can't even put this on my active Chuck page until Tuesday or Wednesday because I got a copyright. I mean, I got a strike for he reported me for harassment because I exposed that he had that Inglewood case pending. He caught it 2/19/2025. It's a theft case, right? Misdemeanor though, it's 2 misdemeanors. You know what I'm saying? But he's stealing, and then he didn't have no license. He doing business under his company without a license to be a broker. You know what I'm saying? So, and I guess he did bad business stealing somebody's money, and they reported him for the theft, and then they find out he don't got a license. But he came to, while I'm doing it, exposing him, that now I'm on to you. You out here with open cases, and you talking about you so against the street. You're so against the street life, and you're so against the gangs and criminal lifestyle, and you're a Muslim, and you didn't run to Muslims for protection, but because you believe in Allah. And then here we come to find out you a hypocrite. You got cases. You're using aliases you didn't think we was going to find out. You know what I'm saying? But that's not the only name he went through. So Eddie Wagner is his mother's maiden name, right? Harrison is his father's last name. And then his brother, look, is it his littlest brother, or is it one of his other brothers? He goes by another name. He uses 3 different names, right? So I got cases on him. I'm talking about I can count for you right now how many cases he got. I got the unaliving he did to his elderly uncle or cousin. He robbed him, James O. Lewis, right? And that was in 87, 88, right? And on that one, he used Eddie Phillips. And then it connects them and says it was the people of the state of California versus Eddie Phillips. And then the alias is Eddie James Wagner. And even then, they said he had 2 priors, right? So he had 2 priors up under 3 different aliases that he got. And then he catch the case with Big U. You know what I'm saying? In 91. So he was already dealing with criminal, career criminal, and all of these different things. But yeah, I got the things, and then he has this it's a confidential file case. He got a confidential file case. You know what I'm saying? And this is some element that you don't know. You was there for the beginning and to know about their case. But when I said earlier that I've even been researching and found out other things about this guy, which leads me to believe he was out on a lot of these cases when he caught that case, bro. If you look, you got so you got 1990. He had a case out of Compton Court. He was still out on. You had 1985, he had a case. 1987, he had a case. That was Northwest District. That was December 85, 11/26. I'm gonna make sure I show the people all of this paperwork so they can verify what they dealing with. This dude is a career criminal. He always talking about Big U ain't the smartest, ain't the sharpest crayon in the box, and he ain't that sharp. But this dude got literally, bro, I'm counting right now, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16, 17, 18, 19, 20 times his dumb ass been caught. And he complaining that he got 5 or 6 extra years than Big U because of his criminal history. But those other cases, what happened to him? Yeah. and then one of them say confidential, bro. So I've ordered it. I thought I would have had it by Friday because it's they told me I would have it either Friday, Thursday or Friday, and the courts didn't get it to me. So I'm hoping that I get the email with the actual case documents Monday. You know what I'm saying? And then that's gonna be the next episode. But while he want to continue to speak up on his brother and kick this brother while he down, fighting against these people for his life. What kind of the first thing?
About priors, but I didn't ascertain exactly what prior they were talking about that gave me additional time.
Right.
It had nothing to do with Dave Austin, aka Big U. And so these dudes don't know no better, you know, and so now they able to glom on to what he's saying, like they did this superseding indictment character, you know, just a character assassination. None of it is an additional crime. I don't understand, you know. And they even said that he had nothing to do with this. So you have people around our neighborhood that was backdooring Big U talking about they think he might have had something to do with this.
But no, that was just the excuse. They wanted him out of there for a whole lot of other reasons, right? For some of them feared him. Others felt that they had action at trying to run the developing options in the community programs. So it was multiple reasons. And then sometimes, bro, when you got a brother that dedicated, first and foremost, that put it down like he was supposed to when he was supposed to, right? And then he begins to evolve. He didn't stay stagnated. He begins to get into music and films and clothing. And then he dedicates his life to them children in the Crenshaw district. When he's handing the last money he got in his pocket to one of these kids' mother who don't got a man in the house and she can't pay rent. And you could tell she come from poverty. She just trying to get through. And he, well, this all I got right now. And he just give her everything in her pocket. How you think that make these dudes who's already insecure feel in the community? They don't have that kind of effect or dedication to the community. So it shows that it's not really in their heart. You know what I'm saying? They're not in a position to try to give back, to try to build. It was real easy for us to destroy our community. I was probably one of the worst ones in my set, homie. You know what I'm saying? But to learn how to be constructive is a total opposite, bro. And most of those brothers can't make that transition. So he shines. That's the Big U I met. I didn't get to meet the Big U knocking niggas out and doing. I didn't meet him over crime. I met him and I seen him with 12 kids in his house, none that lived with him, but he got them spinning over. His wife mad at him, right? Because the kids getting on her nerves. But he understands some of these kids don't have a father figure in their life. So I hear him telling them how to work the water hose. The kids don't even know how to water the line, bro. I'm on the phone. They got the wiretaps. I'm like, damn. This is what every one of our neighborhoods need, a Big U. But here they is trying to take that away. But as far as the Nipsey Hussle, that was the excuse, and it's the exact prejudice that the government it feels that it needs, which let me know how weak their case really is. So the superseding indictment, I'm gonna go over that shit later on today too, right? Even though it's nothing new, all they essentially did, they made WAC 100 about 4 or 5 different overt acts. He's a part of 4 or 5 overt acts, which is like almost like 90%. ChatGPT said there's a 90% chance that they went and interviewed him about the Big U investigation because of the threats on his life, because of him being in the overt acts and having a relationship with Dale Morrison, having a relationship with Marley Marl, having a relationship with Loose Cannon. Every informant on this case that they've already revealed Whack 100 is directly tied to and in communication with. So they saying the feds definitely would have already interviewed him, even if they couldn't flip him to try to get a statement to see whether the informants were lying to them about certain things. You know what I'm saying? So I seen that they did that, and then it was they had the date wrong on one of the alleged overt acts. They changed that. So that they say that was the reason that they did the superseding indictment, because it wasn't no new charges or nothing. But that wasn't the reason. That's the reason that they used so that they could go ahead and prejudice Big U. Because if we talk to some people about some PR people saying, well, look, Big U needs to file a civil suit for defamation against first No Jumper and academics, because they were the first ones that ran with that Nipsey Hussle thing. When he didn't file a lawsuit on them, it was open doors. Everybody else followed suit. You know what I'm saying? And they just running this narrative into the dirt, and fake Nipsey Hussle fans, because before he died, Victory Lap, his only album that went platinum. Before he died, they wasn't supporting him. I was a Nipsey supporter since the first marathon. Bullets Ain't Got No Names, I heard a few bangers, but when I heard the marathon one, I said, okay, he on some pop type shit, some West Coast gangster shit, and he a South Central baby. So now I'm putting the brims on to the nigga at the time. Like, oh, no, y'all got to fuck with this. I know he from 60s. Take that out and just listen to the message the youngster bringing, bro. And he was the truth. But yeah, bro, I'm going to break that down, but they're really utilizing that to prejudice them. So I tell the PR lady, hey, look, I'm trying to get some PR to let people know that this is demonstrably false. No Jumper used it. DJ Academic used it. And this is a campaign by a lot of his enemies to push this false narrative. And when jurors are human, bro, when they go back home and they laying in bed, they might thumb through YouTube, and it's going to be everything on the algorithm. Big U, like it is right now, is going to override everything in the black sector and hip hop, especially on the West Coast. So it's going to pop up on the algorithm, and they're going to see Big U, and then other things going to pop up. Big U threatens to kill Nipsey. Nipsey was already dead. What Big U was saying was, nigga, I wasn't beefing with Nipsey Hussle. That's my son, nigga. If I was beefing with him, nigga, he would have been dead. Nigga, ain't no we beefing and you still alive. Nigga, I'm gonna go all the way there. But nigga, it wasn't that. But they took that out of context and they made sure that they added that it is not pertinent to any of his other charges, except to say that he utilizes intimidation to prejudice him as if he has something to do with Nipsey Hussle, understanding that a lot of people already been misled with that narrative from the beginning. The brother up against it, man, I'm praying for him. I went to sleep last night praying for him, and I woke up with a heavy heart because I really believe that he had action at beating it, because I know Loose Cannon's a lie. I know Dale Morrison lying. I know Marley Marl is being corrupted and coerced by Whack 100. All three of them were corrupted and coerced by Whack 100. But and he wants to get him off because he's scared of Big U. But I said, well, it's a chance, you know, even though the odds against him playing with them feds, there's a chance that he gets a good jury and they see, oh, hold on, man, there's a whole lot of foul play going on. These motherfuckers is narrating the script, right? And he gets out. But how I seen that last night, and knowing how I felt about Nipsey Hussle and how many other people feel about Nipsey Hussle passing, and them tying that to him, prejudicing him, it's going to be some jurors that might just see that on their timeline. And
I talked to him. He was with Nipsey. They was in the studio. I don't know what studio, but it was him, Nipsey, and OT Genesis. OT Genesis knows that them dudes was cool after that.
Right.
When him and Nipsey got into it, I called him when I heard about it, and he told me, he was like, yeah, T, he said, but he was impressed. He was like, "Gee, the nigga took the fade." He was like, "Bro took the fade." Like he was proud of Nipsey that Nipsey didn't punk out. Like he took the fade. When I called him to confirm what I was hearing on the news that Nipsey Hussle got shot, and he was like, "Yeah, we already know who did it." Never know anything towards that dude, man. It's crazy to me that they're able to take this narrative and spin it and run with it. You got a lot of people who don't know LA politics, buying it.
Right.
Now the feds is trying to manipulate the jury pool by saying, "Oh, he threatened the life of Nipsey Hussle." Although we're not saying that he had anything to do with it, because that's a state murder case. But as far as we're concerned, we have nothing implicating him yet. And that's what they left off with. So they want to leave in people's mind. And so now you got these other characters who's getting on these talk shows. I watched that 600 with that dude P Nice. Deuce. I don't know a lot of these dudes.
Yeah.
I'm 61 years old, man. We moved on Arlington at the same time in 1971, 72. We was in the 60s before it was even named 60.
Right.
We grew up. It wasn't no being put on in the 60s with us, because we grew up when it was all put together. I was at Horace Mann when the war started. I remember when Tyrone got killed. I remember all that, man. So for them, and it wasn't Big U saying he was the head of Rollin 60. It was that he put on such a strong demonstration in 4800 that cats, if they had a problem with the 60, or there was some politics to go on, hey man, holler at Big U. And that's what led other people to be like, "Oh, he must think he's a leader."
Right. And they never. I talked to him about it, and he said never. First of all, that's too big of a neighborhood. Second of all, it's different cliques with different structures of who pecking orders of who over here got the money, who over here is moving the crowd, who's over here doing it. So it ain't never been like that. So he never claimed that. It was everybody else, man. But that narrative's worked for the feds in their case, man. You know what I'm saying?
Just came down to being him. And, a lot of cats in the neighborhood would say, well, Bronco, you biased. That's your boy. Well, yeah. But I know this dude. That philanthropic soul, a spirit in him, he's always had that. He's taking care of, man, when he started getting money, he was paying all kind of people. Not just in his family. He was paying their mortgages, all kinds of stuff. And the dude has always been who he was when he became into developing options.
Bro, you think I don't know? Let me tell you this. One time I got I quit my job. They called me a nigger. Well, they didn't call me a nigger. They said my branch manager used the term nigger rig, right? Bro, I have to pay my rent, $1,800. So they supposed to gave me my last check once I gave them 2 weeks notification right then and there, or within 24 hours. Bro, they made me wait 2 weeks. But I didn't even have the rent money, right? I told Draws. Draws made sure I got that rent money, bro. And I said, well, look, I'll pay you as soon as they give me my last paycheck, right? When I got my last paycheck, I tell him, man, I got that for you. He's like, man, I didn't do that for that. I did that because you stood on what you could have. When you realized that you didn't believe that the grid program shit, and you found out whatever you did that made you not believe that the grid necessarily had to work for the police or with the police, then and you stood on that. He said, man, I'm you can't do no wrong by my way. I said, nah, bro. I told you that I was gonna give you that back. I want to send that back to you. He said, listen, the feds is on me. I don't want you to have no more transactions with me, and they bring you in on the case. And I thought about that. I said, yeah, maybe it don't look good that we doing transactions back to back. Right? Right. But yeah, I know you talk about that philanthropic nature in him, because he could have just been like, yeah, I want that, or use the penitentiary game, you know, the muscle game, penitentiary, everything come with strings attached. You know what I'm saying? He that wasn't him. That was just sincerely, if he fucked with you, he fucked with you. You know what I'm saying? If he
Now, see, what these dudes didn't like is that once they crossed his path, he pushed that line. But I ain't never seen this dude justifiably. He wasn't a bully. People say, I used to get this from homies all the time, man, and think you're a bully. I'm like, go have that conversation with. You know, I'm telling you, because me and him, you know, and then I've seen this thing on the internet that Sam from over.
Yeah, that lying ass nigga.
Man, dropped his flag and became a Muslim. And bro, this dude, my uncle and his uncle, separate uncle, you know, because me and him not blood related. But, you know, like I said, I've been knowing him for 50 plus years, so we family by choice.
Right.
You know.
Sometimes you be closer family to in those situations than actual blood. You know what I'm saying?
His older sister was my first love. I spent so much time at this dude's house. I went to church with them on Sunday. I know everything about this dude. I know how he moved, what he thinks, and me and him was so tight, you know, that he accepted my counsel. You know, if he asked me if he thought we should do something and I didn't feel good about it, or he should do, you know, I was like, nah, don't do it. And he wouldn't do it. You know, so we trust each other like that. And so that's the only reason I'm standing up for this dude, because, you know, me and him was like brothers, man. We've been together too long. And I can't stand by and watch some lesser than niggas put smut on this dude's name when he in a situation where he can't respond back, or they waited until he couldn't confront them personally.
Right.
You know, this nigga 600 talking about he'll bang big kid. Like, dude, this dude is a grandfather. You know what I'm saying? He's 17.
Well, Lovejoy got daddy issues anyway. His dad, he not sure who his dad was. He thought one dude, he admitted, he thought one dude was his dad, and then come to find out his sister and his aunties told him, no, that's not his dad, right? So he confused. He got an issue. He even said that Big U was a father figure to him. So I confronted him one time. I said, what's up with you and this issue you got with older father figures, bro? You got some deep-rooted issues that you really need to deal with. And that sealed files you got from down there in Blacc when he went there. But Big U already touched on him, bro. You know what I'm saying? Big U already touched on him. He said Big U put him in some kind of lock or something or whatever. It's on the internet. I tricked him. That's when Big U was like, oh, I fuck with your podcast. You smarter than a lot of these niggas. This nigga's so dumb. He admitted it. I said, so you really beat him up? He said, I didn't really beat him up. I just touched on her. And he said, her, you know.
But you know, the game has changed.
Yeah, man.
There's too much surveillance around here. These niggas is online talking and drawing snitches, putting it in such a way, like we said, if you do something to them, everybody don't know who did it.
Right.
So they insulating themselves while they talking smack, the same smack. And my thing is, when dude was in his prime, 22 years old, 20 years old, them dudes wouldn't even walk this way. You know, Nick, I watched niggas tell Big U he wasn't Big U, just based on the reputation. He was like, nah, nigga, Big U like 7 feet 2, nigga, big old black nigga, like, you know.
Right.
You know, and I don't see this dude. That's the Hoovers. What happened when he got down with Champ in 4800? The dude that was walking around the pen with the boxing gloves on his chest. Thank you from 11 dudes. So even the homies up the stateway didn't believe Big U had got with dude.
Right.
So that's what made his name red. You know, Rocky and all these people testified that this dude was one of them dudes, man. He was, you know, and everybody was that way. You know,
right.
Super Crip. I was with Super Crip every day. So it wasn't no need for me to be Super Crip.
Right. Everybody got their role to play.
discuss it, and if he thought that I made a good point, he respected that. You know.
Yeah.
So yeah, that's the yeah. So I am on that dude's side, man, because I know he's a good dude. You know, he don't play no games with no niggas. You know, and these niggas just couldn't stand up to what dude was putting out. So you know, man, I appreciate you letting me voice that. Like I said, if EddieBoy want to contest me, he got all the opportunity in the world. He can get with me and tell me where I'm making it up. Because he's making it up, and he should be ashamed of himself, and he should stop it, trying to put this dude's life in danger, because he feel like can't nobody touch him now, because he out the way.
Right. Yeah. Well, listen, man, I appreciate your honesty, man, and the fact that you stood up. Lock my number in. If anytime, man, you need a voice, especially for something constructive or positive, man, tap in. I got you, man. Appreciate the love.
Appreciate it, man. I like the way you put it out, and how you come with the facts. You're meticulous in your facts.
Facts.
You bring facts, and these dudes just want to run conversations. So I get why they got some pushback on you, and they don't want to, you know.
Yeah. They can't handle the truth. You know what I'm saying? But
you're a solid dude, man. I appreciate you.
Oh yeah, man. That's just South Central raised them like that. Well, at least we did. I don't know about this new generation, but at least we did. Yeah. All right, T Bronco. Salute, man. Enjoy your day. All right. Bronco T rolling up out the Crenshaw district, man. You know what I'm saying? And it's so crazy because everybody is running these narratives. So did y'all see the paperwork? Let me go over that first so that everybody can see. Talk about Crackhead Eddie. You know what I'm saying? Crackhead Eddie, he hates the truth. You know what I'm saying? So if y'all didn't know, Crackhead Eddie uses multiple names. So that's why he struck my other page. You know what I'm saying? Because I had proof. This is his 187 case. So let me tell y'all a little bit about Crackhead Eddie, right? So y'all know what y'all working with, right? And so Eddie Phillips and Eddie James Wagner. So his stepfather's last name was Phillips, so he used that. And then Eddie James Wagner is his mother's maiden last name. You know what I'm saying? So that's his AKA. He had a robbery, 459. I don't know what that is. Let me see. And then he had the 187 charge, right? So let's see what that is. PC 459. Let's see what that is. So PC 459 refers to burglary. So he had burglary to entertain certain structures or vehicles with the intent to enter certain structures or vehicles with the intent to commit theft or any felony once inside. Burglary can occur if someone enters a house, a business, a store, a room within a building, a warehouse, a locked vehicle, a trailer, a vessel, a railroad car, an aircraft. So he got the burglary, he got the 211, that's a robbery, and he got the 187A. So this is in regards to his own blood family, elderly family. They say he was 70-something years old or 80 years old. He was in that that age group, right? But y'all got confirmation right here on the legal document, aka Eddie James Wagner, and this was in Eddie James Wagner is also Eddie Phillips, right? And yeah, this was in 87. The crime was in December 10th, 87. The complaint was filed July 29th, 88. You know what I'm saying? So yeah, and he unalived his own family member who was 87 to 88 years old. His family member name was James O. Lewis, right? James O. Lewis is the name of the victim, right? And then I want y'all to see this. This is when I was telling him I was counting how many crimes. This is his other alias. The case he got right now in Inglewood is under this name, Eddie Harrison, which is his dad's last name, right? Eddie Bruce Harrison, Eddie Earl Harrison, Eddie James Harrison, Eddie Jerome Harrison. So he plays with his first name and he mixes it with his different last names and middle name. But 2003, Eddie Bruce Harrison. 1996, Eddie Bruce Harrison. 2007, he caught a case. 1/5/1990, caught a case. Eddie Bruce Harrison, 2007. He been catching cases. Eddie Bruce Harrison. And these are the case numbers. So y'all can pull these numbers up like I did. They should all be on their way. And Eddie Jerome Harrison, 1993. Eddie Earl Harrison, 1985, 88. He had all of these cases, these criminal cases, and he talks about Big U's done. So those are the three names: Eddie Harrison, and he uses different middle names. Eddie Wagner, Eddie James Wagner. Temporary, more than likely is what he'll use, plus Eddie Phillips. So those are the three names he goes by. And you can see right here that Eddie has some questionable criminal history with a confidential case. Here it go right here. Case document is locked. He got more than one. Where you see the locks at, you can't get into those. Case document is locked. Case document is locked. Case document confidential legacy. So it's a whole lot going on with this dude. These people ain't who they claim they is. You know what I'm saying? So that's who we was talking about with his case. And now we're gonna go ahead and go to let's go ahead and go to American Dope, Al Prophet. Let's go.
Big U's business. It was always very vague. Like, what was it about? Why did these guys, because Big U put Nipsey with Steve LaBelle and they got him going. I mean, Nipsey, we know him at the end of being this entrepreneurial guy with his own team, but he didn't start that way. I mean, Big U played a part in him getting started, and he would talk a big.
It's only the haters and niggas that try to take away Big U's contribution to Nipsey. That position. Oh, you ain't never helped me. Even Nipsey took a selfish position on that. You ain't got a clue. This to Big U, and I wasn't there. I don't know their relationship, but what I do know is that you can't erase and claim like you did it all by yourself when you had somebody who was like a fullback opening up holes in doors that you had no access to previously. Those have equitable value and you benefited from them. So how you going to erase that? That's the hater shit. Let's go.
Big draws. He would constantly reference him, and Big Draws took me here and hooked up that, and they went out to New York, and so they were rocking, and Big U definitely had a value for the early stages of his career. So they were out on a tour bus doing a promotional tour for Nipsey in the mixtape days. This is right before they broke up. The bus kept getting pulled over.
He sick the police on Nipsey.
I just hit it home. They had 21 people. They think they got him. Anyway, make a long story. He ended up turning himself in, take the case off all of us. He get life.
He said somebody turned themselves in, took the case off of all of them, and he get life. Let's go.
Right? For the drugs.
Right.
When that happened, my team is acting weird. So I'm looking at Steve, I'm looking at Nip, man, get a paperwork from Sony so they can see that we listen to all this. They acting weird. So, me, I'm still kind of like, hey, I'm hot and heavy, but
Loose Cannon claims Big U was given the information to get the bus pulled over, trying to get Nipsey caught with a gun. Maybe not. I don't know what the strategy of that would be.
Now, Prophet, if you ever want to have and maintain any credibility that you might still have, don't ever use Loose Coochie Ashley as the person who is giving you information and repeating. It really makes people question your intent and or wisdom and knowledge. Let's go.
But what's interesting, you see how excited Big U is talking about it. And if you listen to what he said, it's that a guy he knew had a travel agency, and they were sending people on bus tours to drop off the work, to sell work, and they were getting a big bag. So that's why, and you was tied to this guy, so that's why they kept getting on the bus. They were looking for D Ruggs and the guy, and they did, and Big U got picked up. A bunch of people got picked up. Big U was not charged. His buddy took the whole case.
So I think this was in Minnesota. This was on the Game LAX tour. I'm going to look that up. Let me play this. Maybe it's something about that, Minnesota or Chicago. It was Minnesota or Chicago, the Game LAX tour. Let me see.
Now, for the record, for those of us that have had our fate be under a prosecutor's decision, you can't take someone's case. Like, the prosecutor decides who gets charged. Now, a person can say they're the one who did it or whatever, but so I don't know what he means by the guy took everything and got life. He might have been the only one who ended up with life. I don't know what the logistics of that were. Now, so Big U was tied in with a guy who was sending tour buses out under the guise of his travel agency that really had to work on him. Nipsey was doing a tour, a promo tour. Now, I cannot remember who the hell was talking about this.
Work today is broken. Every day, people juggle so many different tools just to get work done. A simple task turns into a time-consuming mess because work sprawl has scattered the tools and
The Mexicans in Chicago tried to kill Nip.
Yeah. At the concert, Sean, it was fucking 100 Mexicans with colorful Crenshaw shirts on the south side of Chicago. But we went backstage, Nip like, man, hey, keep y'all head up, because, some shit went on back home. He dead now, so I can say it. It's the 60s or whatever, they had robbed the motherfucking cartel for like 300 keys of heroin.
All wearing the same.
And they know he's traveling and this and that, so he was an easy target. They was going to kill him to hurt the 60s. Type shit.
We kind of rushed the stage, and then after the thing, they had to run to the tour bus, and there was going to be some gunplay, or somebody did have to let off some shots. Now, that could kind of sound like, remember, this was during the time, well, still, Chicago's, LA's a hub for work, so is Chicago.
But it's much, much lower in Los Angeles. Allegedly, you know what I'm saying? I don't know about now. I don't know what the going prices is on anything. You know what I'm saying? What a weed. I know what the going prices is on weed. So this is what I can gather. In 2014, the Proud to Pay tour stopped in Chicago. Gunfire was heard around Nipsey Hussle's tour bus, and an artist and his entourage was stabbed. But police reported shots fired near a venue, and no arrests were made at that time. Nipsey and his crew were reported as not involved or injured in the incident, according later to hip hop, HighNewHipHop.com. You know what I'm saying? So the incident they're talking about where the essays allegedly or the cartel had the Crenshaw shirts on, and they got up in there and it was some kind of gunplay or some kind of issues. That was in Chicago. That was 2014, the Proud to Pay tour. There is no record that no verifiable reports linking Nipsey Hussle to a Minnesota incident involving guns or drugs on a tour bus arrest. A thorough search of records and articles does not turn up any arrest filings or charges of that nature. So Nipsey Hussle's Nipsey Hussle said that they said he was targeted by Big U so he get caught with a burner, but he has not been charged with no burner. Or was he charged with a burner and is not there? We gonna do deeper investigation. I don't want to jump to conclusions, but yeah, it's not showing up nothing about Minnesota. Let's go.
Lower cartoon. Could that have been, and then Big U, we know, likes to rob plugs. That's what he went to prison for back in 91. Extortion charges now. He likes to get stuff and not pay. Could some Mexicans somewhere have been owed some money by Big U and them? Or that guy that was sending the workout on the tour buses? So imagine you got a black guy in LA, you know that he's getting work and he's sending around the country on tour buses. He doesn't pay for a load. He owes. Of course, it's hard, easy to not be found, right? But now they know, oh shit, this rapper that we know this guy is somehow affiliated with or is in the same circuit of people, Nipsey, he's on the road in a tour bus, and we know this guy sends work out on the tour buses.
So this other guy sending work out on the tour buses, and it seems like Big U's taking the blame. Whether he did it, knew about it, or knew about it, he knew the dude, so they're blaming it on him. Did Nipsey know the dude? How y'all know Nipsey didn't know the dude? It's crazy. Let's go.
Let's run up on them. So, I'll have to investigate that further. Maybe you can give me some help. There's always some.
So that's why I left music. That was really how I left music. And if you look at it, if you see where at some point in our music venture, you only see Steve and Nipsey together. Mm-hmm. You kind of really don't see me no more. And didn't really know why I had left. But I'm like, if these panicking like this over some that ain't serious, and we in a hip hop game, what if we knock down some?
For real.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
So, I love Steve death, but I'm like, I got to get away from this. And we weren't making no money then.
Yeah.
You know what I'm saying?
Yeah, certainly made no.
And being really pure with my energy. And I was just only doing music. And I was like suffering financially. The police raided the studio and took all the equipment and put a gun on me that was in the house, a shotgun. It was a registered shotgun, but I was on probation for a gun. So, the probation says you can't be around no guns at all. So they booked me for the gun, took all my equipment, and I was really just in there working. You know what I mean? Just like, they don't know that. Nobody know how pure you are but you. Yeah. And I was really pure at that time. I wasn't doing nothing but music. It kind of discouraged me for a long time.
So if we think that there's evidence that Big U back in 91, because Big U wasn't the head of the drug thing. He was listed as an enforcer, and he did try to stick the guy up. And he got less time than the other guy, his co-defendant in the conspiracy. So he was not the one in charge, he was the enforcer. So then he has a history of being attached to drug rings and being the muscle. But then when things go sideways, him throwing someone under the bus, literally with this Nipsey Hussle tour bus situation, it kind of sounds like that. So that's, and as you saw, Big U said, oh, when I came back, they were all acting funny. Well, gee whiz. People don't want to get searched for guns and get taken into custody and chased by Mexicans in Chicago and asked by the feds about, are you trafficking drugs on these buses? And then he says, oh, we're in the hip hop industry. We might have to lay somebody down. I mean, you're right. You might, but that's what you're thinking about. You should be trying to not have to. Like, that's always right. You always may have to do whatever you have to do, but that shouldn't be what you're thinking about. But that's what he was thinking about. That's what he was really into. He was a guy that he liked the street stuff, which, listen, to be good and make a career in anything, you usually have to like it, right? Some people are just in it for the money, but there's so many opportunities to do stuff in LA. If you're being a criminal, you're into it. You like it. So, I mean, it all kind of makes sense. So Nipsey is like, oh man, this guy has got me being questioned about drugs and guns. And then he himself, his behavior is suspect. Let me get away from this guy. And then he might have been talking bad about, like, oh, what's up with Big U seems suspect, which of course is going to raise Big U's antennas. Big U, as told by Lil Razzie and others, goes over to the studio where Nipsey is to talk about his equipment and ends up throwing a water bottle at Nipsey and hits him. They go outside to fight. Big U's doing his MMA stretching. It's not that Nipsey beat him up. They kind of spar around for a while. Nipsey's smart enough not to let him get too close because Big U is a big guy and trained and all that. It would hurt him if he grabbed him, but he doesn't let Big U grab him. He's much younger. Big U starts to get tired. So they call out another guy, Little Draws. Little Draws and Nipsey go at it a little bit. So he didn't beat up Big U or nothing. But then the other time when Big U makes Nipsey, see, Big U said he went to pick Nipsey up to get his discipline, but they were, from other ways the story is told, they're outside somewhere in the 60s hood and Big U pulls up and is like, yo, get in or something. And a fight starts. And Big U and his group is getting the best of Nipsey and the other group, but then Fats pulls up, 5'4", stocky Fats, and he's upset. He just gets out and runs and kamikazes you and puts them out of his pockets. So if your reputation...
So he's talking about Razie's the only person that ever made that statement. And he's running with it, which leads me to, because I know Razie foul. In fact, let me give y'all this real quick, and then we finna get into this report. Hold on. Let me see where that's at. I think it's in my Instagram. Hold on, let me see. I think I put it in here. Rico the Rat Rod Gang. Rico the Rat Rod Gang. Look at what Rico the Rat Rod Gang tried to do in my comments. I tried, he did that. He plays police game. Only the police play police games. You know what I mean? Rico the Rat Rod Gang. Rico the Rat Rod Gang. Rico the Rat. Mad because he can't go back. Rico the Rat Rod Gang. So this is the guy he's quoting. A piece of shit. Oh, we gonna break him down. I'm gonna do a story on Crackhead Eddie's whole snake life as a snake, and on Rico the Rat Rod Gang. Razie visuals. Look at this. 9 hours ago. So when I woke up, this is what I see. I liked it and hearted it. Keep it up, Enterprise Deuce. Like the Big U Enterprise. He's calling me Enterprise Deuce. Can you believe that? Can you believe that? Enterprise Dukes. He wants me on a RICO. Nigga, I don't make no money. I go on a RICO. I'm gonna make millions. Believe that. You know what I'm saying? I'm a journalist. Stop hating. You know what I'm saying? Stop wishing bad on another man's. Another man's. A man's. That's a man's. Damn it. Yeah. But look, so that's how he talks. Then we're going to get into his paperwork. Oh, bang that like button. Bang that motherfucking like button. Y'all finna get some exclusive shit. So this snake that he's going by, I'm going to get into the paperwork now while he's talking about the alleged fight that Rico the Rat Rose say fast not Big U out. Dominique Charles Blanton, this was his federal case, right? That's Rico the Rat Rod Gay. You know what I'm saying? And then these is his other cases. When he unalived Lil Dominique, his own godson. You know what I'm saying? 2019, was it? Yeah, I think it was 2019. Yeah, right here. 7/17/2019. Dominique unalived Lil Dominique. This supposed to have been a fade, you know. Rico the Rat Rod Gay is defending his gay cousin and allegedly, you know what I'm saying? And I guess Lil Dominique and them got on his head because he was on the penitentiary yard doing homosexual shit, which Crips and Bloods don't tolerate. So when Lil Dominique seen him, he had already heard Rose had been popular. So he's like, nigga, you talking about what we did? Nigga, fuck that. You know what I'm saying? Rainbow Bright, nigga, we can get in. They went right there where Nipsey Hussle's clothing shop was at. They went to the side right there by that alley. And they supposed to be getting down. And that coward, Rose, pulled out a weapon and stabbed Lil Dominique and left him to die, bleeding back there. He also snaked Kato as a juvenile, carjacked Kato's Tupac's. Why did it have to be Big Kato? So these are the snakes. And he got all of those cases. Oh yeah, man. We gonna make a book about these niggas since they wanna lie about. Don't lie on my peoples. I won't tell the truth about you. Let's go.
Is the ultimate enforcer on the streets. You're to use his own terms on the wiretaps. I'm the last OG still killing people. You can't get literally. It's one thing to dance around with Nipsey and you're old so you get tired, but neither one of you really punch each other. It's another thing for facts to actually hit you in the chin and knock you down. And listen, anybody can get knocked down because I don't care. There's no muscles on your chin or nose. You catch a blow from a guy who's 250 pounds.
So we done with that one. We gave y'all enough content, but we definitely gonna get into this exclusive content. I told y'all to hit that like button. You know what I'm saying? And y'all think it's a game, we gonna wait a minute. You know what I'm saying? We gonna wait until y'all get them likes up. I keep bringing y'all the content, and y'all be acting like y'all don't understand that we got the exclusive shit. So maybe this is the sign that y'all need to see to know it's some exclusive shit. Confidential report. The chief of police considered this report highly confidential. Administrative use is limited to concerned staff and command personnel of the Los Angeles Police Department. This report contains information obtained from compelled statements. Any other use of this report is forbidden by the Los Angeles City Attorney. This report is not to be reproduced or copied. Force Investigation Division report number. Do not return this report to Force Investigation Division. When finished, please ensure this report is shredded or burned. Y'all still ain't hit that like button, huh? All right. Y'all be on my live tonight then. Because I know how y'all get down. Just know. Yeah, we got the report. Oh, yeah, I'll give it to y'all, man. Let me go through it now because I don't want to go through it later, right? So one another Blacc identified, they're talking about the fight. Nipsey Hussle, Big U. Blacc identified these individuals as Rollin 60 Crip gang members between the ages of 18 to 20 years of age. Blacc and Blacc exited the store, at which time Blacc and the group, at which time Blacc told the group, stop arguing. The crowd then dispersed for a minute. Shortly after, the crowd became larger and began fighting with one another a second time. It's Thunderdome. It's crew versus crew, right? Blacc walking towards Blacc vehicle that was parked in the alley. The fight then, you see, is heavily redacted. The fight then went into the alleyway. During this time, Blacc observed Blacc Sam, who he has known for a couple of years. So this is an informant telling the police. An informant was there, and he's telling the police about what happened, who he has known for a couple of years and referred to him as blank. He's seen Sam armed with a handgun in his left hand and facing south towards the crowd located in the alley. Ashkedon raises the firearm and fired 5-6 gunshots in the air. Blacc began running south in the alley. Blacc then heard someone yell out, police, and heard 3 to 4 additional gunshots. Blacc continued running south through the alley and then west on 58th Street. Blacc looked back and observed Blacc driving towards him on 58th Street. This Blacc is Big U. Blacc flagged down Big U and entered his vehicle. They were eventually stopped by LAPD officers and transported to 77 Division. So the person telling this story, want to know who the rat is? One of the rats is the person who jumped into that Escalade with Big U. I don't know too many people who were said to been there on Big U's side. But one of the people that I do know allegedly hit Nipsey's father with a bat was Christopher Lovejoy, the Crip cop. So, during the interview of Blacc, he stated he drove his Cadillac Escalade during the interview of Big U. So they interviewed Big U. He drove his Cadillac Escalade to the KFC restaurant on Crenshaw Boulevard in 58. As he was leaving the restaurant, he heard gunshots, but did not observe who was firing or where the gunshots were coming from. So Big U keep it G. Big U don't tell no names, nothing about nothing else, except yes, he heard the gunshots, but he didn't see where they came from, and he don't know, and he didn't observe who was firing. He kept it in the streets. So he drove away from the area and was later detained by police officers and transported to 77 Station. Investigators note number 3 and 4. Based on the statements provided by officers DeBella and Medina, along with the statements provided by Blacc, Ashkedon was arrested for 245 D1. Blacc Sam is arrested for 245, assault with a deadly weapon with a firearm on a police officer. Samuel Ashkedon was booked for the above charge at 77th Street Regional Jail, booking number 267 9491. Per the approval of 77th Street Division Watch Commander, Lieutenant I or J. Percy Casey or I. J. Peter Casey, serial number 30155. Blank and blank were released from the custody at 77th Street Area Police Station, addendum numbers 2 and 3. On April 5th, 2011, Detective Mendoza presented the case to the Los Angeles County District Attorney's Office for filing consideration. Deputy District Attorney Allison Sudar filed one count violation of 417 CPC, draw and exhibit firearm in a threatening manner. In the presence of a police officer. One count of violation in 246.3A, that's PC, discharge firearm with gross negligence that could result in injury or death. And one count violation of 12021A1 PC, felon with a firearm. Scene description. The officer-involved shooting occurred in the parking lot of a commercial strip mall containing several retail businesses and fast food restaurants located at 3420 West Slauson Boulevard. At the time of the officer-involved shooting, the strip mall was a single-level commercial structure configured in an east-west and northwest L shape with a customer parking lot. The strip mall consisted of 10 adjoining retail stores, restaurants designated as suites with a common walkway. Each of the suites had glass window fronts and glass customer entry doors. Suites A through F were configured in the east-west direction with the window fronts and doors facing north. Suites G through J were configured in the south to north direction with the window fronts and doors facing east. The parking lot spaces were painted with white line designated as customer parking spaces. The strip mall and parking lot, and then it just talks about the strip mall and parking lot, which we know was under surveillance, and this is one of the reasons why. But look, when y'all come over here, y'all know y'all get that exclusive content. Y'all make sure y'all, if y'all utilize the content and react to the content, y'all shout out the Active Chucks and the Damu Kiwe Conversations. If not, then we'll strike your page. Let's keep it playing, man. Until then, Damu Kiwe Conversations.